Hey guys, good morning. Bullhorn Betty here. It is Wednesday morning, March 1st. Today is March 1st. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I'm covering the Idaho 4. This is the death of 4 university-age students, Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. They were murdered in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho campus in Mascow, Idaho, on November 13th in the early morning hours, and believed to have been murdered between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. in the morning. So there's been a lot of people coming out about Bryan Kohberger, about trying to prove this man's innocence. And here is an article that I found on Reddit. So here is a article on Reddit, and it says, zeroing in on Bryan Kohberger with DNA results. I believe law enforcement only zeroed in on Bryan Kohberger after they received DNA results back. Then they researched him, found his car similar to what they were looking for, and obtained his cell phone records. The lesson here: 1, don't submit your DNA to genealogy sites. And 2, don't give your phone number to cops who pull you over. I'm not sure how I feel about that intro into this, but we'll continue to read. I understand if you read the probable cause affidavit, it tells a story that sounds like they tracked him down from the work of the WASU, which is Washington State University, security guards reporting his car, but they are just putting events in order. There were so many white Elantras that it was virtually a dead end for police, and if the actual Elantra driver came forward, they would have had nothing to do with it and still be blamed for the crime, so it kind of keeps people from wanting to volunteer that info. We don't know how many DNA profiles the police found in the house. Based on the importance of the case, I bet they took more samples than usual. And based on the parties at the house, they probably received a lot of DNA profiles that haven't been mentioned. They probably ran all the DNA profiles, and most were not a match to anyone in the system or genealogy databases except for one, Bryan Kohberger. I expect they received the results back on 12/22 or 12/23 because they then issued a warrant for his phone records on 12/23. And sometime after 12/23, the police probably asked the forensic car person if it could be a 2015 Elantra, and also reviewed Dylan Mortensen to see if she could ID him or provide more details. Her response, possibly, I don't know, but he had bushy eyebrows. Why did law enforcement, aggressively go after Bryan rather than taking him in for questioning first? Because they know that this is the only hope. The rest of the DNA results were a bust, and the car thing was just way too generic to lead anywhere. I'm sure they looked at the usual suspects in the area, like those sex offender registry, but it turned up nothing. Everyone said they were sleeping, and the police had nothing to indicate otherwise. My question to you all: did law enforcement say this was the only DNA? Did they say there were no samples found under the nails? My hunch is that there's much more to the story, and Bryan was the convenient scapegoat. Now everyone is ready to close up the evidence, knock down the house, and execute him by firing squad. It's outrageous. This is on the Bryan Kohberger spot in Reddit. I am sorry, but I believe law enforcement has a heck of a lot more than just a small little, bushy eyebrow comment from Dylan Mortensen and a spot of DNA on the sheath. The beginning of this, going into this article, it says Don't give your DNA to databases, and don't give your number to law enforcement if they pull you over. Okay, well, if you're a criminal, maybe those are the things you don't want to do. At the end of the day, to say that it's our fault for taking a test with DNA, with a genealogy site, and, God forbid you get pulled over, don't cooperate with law enforcement. That is such a better messaging for the public than just saying, hey, let's not go and murder 4 innocent people in their home while they are trying to sleep. Let's just not give law enforcement our phone numbers, and don't check your genealogy, because if you commit a crime, they might get you through the genealogy database. Give me a break. And not only that, but do you realize that there are so many people that don't even know that they're related that are getting these genealogy tests? It still would have traced back to Bryan Kohberger. At the end of the day, watching the Alex Murdaugh trial, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about cell phone towers, how phones work and function, and more importantly, OnStar data in the black box in our car, and how those items help convict people. We hear through the probable cause affidavit of Brett Payne about this phone number and plotting the phone track. Then we hear about this white Elantra, and we see and we read that it was seen in videos, multiple videos. And it was very distinguished because at the time, it did not have front and back license plates, only a back license plate, which is typical of southern states. After listening to the Alex Murdaugh trial, I realized that they have a heck of a lot more than just some minor DNA. And again, we talked about this at length. And the at length part was that, he's not getting away with this. They have more information. I guarantee that they have his OnStar data. He's plugged his phone into the car. We know that the cars can download stuff from phones. We know they can tell when the car is engaged and moving. So there's a lot more to this case than that. I also believe that what is going to seal Bryan Kohberger's fate is the fact that he went to that house multiple times. He obviously was stalking them. So I'm just curious, what do you think about this article? Do you agree with it or disagree with it? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, please be safe.